I don't know if there's a better console to have. I think that's the right word. Having a jailbroken PlayStation 3 is almost necessary at this point, I feel like, especially as time goes on. There's so many different reasons. I feel like every time I sit here and think about what makes a jailbroken PS3 so incredible, there's always more things happening, or just things I didn't understand at first are something that I'm starting to understand. If you have an older console like this and there's an option to modify the damn thing, it's probably a very good idea to just do it, because the best thing we can all do as human beings these days is to keep these systems alive forever. But before this begins, it's ad time, sorry. I need to pay for my cat food somehow. This video is sponsored by HBADA. As someone who spends a lot of time sitting down, the most important thing for me is a very nice chair. I could be sitting here some nights for almost 6 hours and barely move. Sometimes I even forget to get up and use the bathroom. Oftentimes I think to myself that sitting for long periods of time is not the best idea. But as you age and start to care less about almost everything, I am easily able to fight those thoughts off because of products like this. The HBADA E3 fits all of my comfort needs as a grown man. And the HBADA E3 Pro has been a top-selling model for 3 years in many different countries, including the US, UK, Germany, France, and more. It has 22 different adjustable options, making it the most adjustable ergonomic chair on the market. It has the world's first ergonomic lumbar support system with floating wings, which can rotate to adjust to your waist for more comfort. It can also be adjusted up or down, so you can find that perfect spot. What I really enjoy is a nice headrest, because my neck is basically useless some days. And with the 4D adjustable headrest, I can plan on multiple hour gaming sessions and not have to worry about my neck being destroyed. You ever sit in a chair that feels awkward and weird because you can't rest your arms in a way that doesn't look strange? I don't feel weird at all using the armrests in this chair. They can be adjusted left, right, up, or down, so you don't have to look weird and be comfortable at the same time. Imagine that. Whether I'm completely lost in a YouTube documentary about geography, playing the full story mode of Skate 2 in one sitting, or scrolling through my phone wasting my life away, the HBADA E3 is the perfect chair if you're simply looking for comfort. It's also certified by Ergonomic Institute, so I actually feel like what I'm sitting in right now is the real deal. If your index finger is interested in this well-designed, comfortable chair and decides to click the link in the description or pinned comment, you can use my code BGE3P for 5% off the HBADA website and GamerE3P for 5% off Amazon. Thank you to HBADA for sponsoring this video. The newest generation of gaming is kind of a pain in the ass sometimes. It feels like you never know what's going to happen next. Games are unbelievably expensive. And consoles these days. It's really strange to walk into a Best Buy or Walmart or something and see a PlayStation 5 priced the way it is still. Like 6 years, almost 5 years actually. 5 years after the damn thing has been on the shelves and it's still this price. And it only seems like things are going up. Every time you open up anything that has to do with an internet connection, you're finding out things are going up in price. Nothing is going down anymore. It's just everything gets more expensive. Never the opposite. I'll still never understand the point of a PlayStation 5 Slim. The damn thing is already skinny, but it seems like there's nothing going on currently at this point where it feels like things are going to get cheaper. And where is the window that is going to show us it is getting cheaper? PlayStation 3 is incredible for this, because I've walked into many secondhand game stores or just whatever retro game stores and everything, and you can get a lot of PlayStation 3 games for like the price of one PS5 game now. By the way, this is mostly going to be just what is very impressive, what is nice, and what is very good about a jailbroken PS3. Not necessarily a tutorial or something, because maybe a day later they might go out of date. So I will leave a link in the description to a very nice jailbreaking PS3 tutorial. That made no sense, but a jailbroken PS3 tutorial. Very good one. Something that is unbelievably important to be able to get custom firmware. You do need a specific model of a PlayStation 3. Probably if you have a very early Slim, or just, I wouldn't honestly recommend jailbreaking one of the original ones because they probably will not last long, honest, or maybe, I don't know. I don't know how long is long at this point, but it's not going to definitely last as long as probably a Slim would. But basically, if you have an earlier edition of a PS3 Slim, or again, you can use the original one, but I wouldn't do it. But if you have an early Slim, and a Super Slim is just off limits for actual custom firmware, but you can still get hen on that. One of the most important things that you can do with a jailbroken PS3 is we can back up our games. That's completely necessary at this point. We don't want our discs to break in half. We don't want them to grow legs and run away. We want them to remain forever. But if they do break, what do we do? So to fix that, we can take one of our favorite games and we can get a very nice application on our PS3, like Multiman. We can put the disc in the system and then we can install it onto the hard drive. Now, this is also something where you can play PS2 games on this. Even with a PS3 like the Slim, that wasn't supposed to even be able to play PS2 games. But that's awesome. It is. Now that we can have some games installed on the hard drive, we can have PS2 games, we can have PS3 games. That's what I'm talking about. Let's say for some reason you basically wake up. You're having a nice bag of sour Skittles, the gummy version, right? And a rip of a PS3 game just lands on your lap, just out of the sky. A bird dropped it there. A pigeon flew by your window and dropped a PS3 rip on your lap. Thank you? I don't condone that, by the way. The hell with the pigeon. Make sure you own your games. That's important. You can format your USB drive to NTFS. This way we can actually do things on the PS3 where we don't have to worry about the amount of storage. You can just put a lot of things on this. It could be a PKG file. It could be an ISO. It could be a JB folder. And if we open up Mana Guns, that's what I use because I feel like that one is almost the most straightforward, or just the one I'm comfortable with using. Maybe you shouldn't do what's most comfortable. Sometimes I could be completely wrong. But sometimes you should do what's comfortable if it is right and if it makes sense. If you have a PKG file, you can name the folder for that packages. And we also need the license, which is the RAP or RAP file. And something that I thought was confusing is when I found this out, I think it was the EXDATA folder. That was not actually in my actual hard drive folder at first, but you can just create it. We move all of the RAP, do you say RAP or RAP? I don't know. I feel like everything is named strange. We can move these to the EXDATA folder, and we can move our PKG files to the packages folder. After that, we can just go into the HDD0 drive, copy and paste those into the actual packages and EXDATA folders. This probably will take a little bit depending on how large the game is. If it's somewhere around like 10 to 15 gigabytes, it can probably take almost 40 minutes. But if it is a smaller PS3 game, like if it's only 5-7 gigabytes or something, it might only take 20, 25. It might not. I don't know. For the JB folders, all you need is to make a folder on your USB drive that's titled Games in all capitals. And inside the HDD0 folder, there will be another folder, the same one that says Games as well, and that's where these go. But it has to be the entire folder of the game. I guess a good thing about the PS3 ISOs we have is we can actually just play these right off the USB drive. If you just put these on your USB drive and then go to Mana Guns or something, we can actually just mount the game. We don't have to actually install it onto the hard drive. If you want to do that, you can absolutely do it. Sometimes if you don't have a large PS3 hard drive, it'll take up a lot of space. And this is just simply fantastic, to be honest with you, because let's just say it. The main reason that any human being, or at least one of them, that most human beings probably do this is because we just want to relive happiness. It has nothing to do with being weird and sketchy, right? Like, it's just, you want to be able to be happy.
But I'd really like to go on a date with you. Pick me up in the next hour.
I'll be there in the next hour then.
So if you're very interested or just you like anything related to early days of PlayStation 3, this will stand out to you. So what we have to do is we have to go into multi-man first. Now we're here. We're on multi-man. First thing we have to do is we have to go over to settings and scroll all the way down to the very bottom. It's actually the last option. Now, you should see something that says write access to dev_flash. I think normally will be disabled and we have to enable it. So once we do that, we can just go over to the file manager. Next, we have to click on PS3 root, and you should see a lot of folders in this. We need to click on dev_blind. Now we go into VSH. Then there's a resource folder we have to go into. Now we're in this very large folder of things, and there's many options, but we just need one specific thing for this. Now there will be an option that says coldboot.raf, and we have to delete this. We are good to go on that. We're done with multi-man. Now the PS3 Reclassic Discord does have a couple of files you can download, whichever option you want. And for this, we do need to format our USB back to FAT32. And then we can just put whatever package file we have on the root of it. And once we install that, that's just a very quick install. We do have to reboot the system. And that's it. That's really all we need to do. Once you do reboot the system, you will see something that almost might bring a tear to your eye. So I did download the Always Dark theme for this, but you actually can adjust how dark it is. You can just go over to the theme settings, and then once you see background, you should see a couple of options that you can actually adjust this to make it lighter or darker. So the best part about this, in my opinion, is absolutely when you start up a game. God, that's beautiful. So look at this. We now have a cross-media bar that looks somewhat, I don't know if like the wave and everything is the exact same because I was seeing updates regarding that, or like the information bar at the top with like the orange logo or whatever, and then it showed like information going through. Those are things I believe are going to be updated into this maybe at some point from what I read. It's time to get some homebrew apps on this because that's also very important. I did a video last year talking about some of my favorite apps that I had on this. I didn't really go into great detail about how amazing they are or anything, but I really do understand now how great some of these could be. I think I may have even said I wasn't going to use some of them, but I ended up doing it. I am dying over here. My voice is dry. I think a very necessary app at this point is the Apollo Save Tool. There are certain websites like Brewology where you can get ones that people got just to make it a lot easier and better and more fun. I found this was very useful for Assassin's Creed 1. I would rather use an ice cream sandwich as a bar of soap than to ever play the first 2 hours of that game again. It's not because I don't like it. I would do it. I would absolutely do it. It's just at this point in time in my life, I have played that game so many times that I'm not really interested in doing the tutorial ever again. I want to get right into Altair kicking ass and not do anything in the early stages. And this is really a perfect game for this. Maybe one exactly like this, where it might have a tutorial or something, or just the first couple hours or whatever hour the game isn't as intense as you want it to be, or interesting. If you already have a save on your PS3, this will probably be better. That way we can transfer that over to our PC and then just delete it and replace it with the file we downloaded. Grand Theft Auto is a perfect game for this too, because this GTA 4 specifically, because you might not have like the entire map technically unlocked. Like you can get to it and everything, you just don't. Maybe you don't want to have a million stars after you if you go into the middle part of the map or something. Like you can just get to a later part. Actually, that might not be a good example because GTA is really a game that you can just play from the beginning and have fun. So I don't know what I'm talking about.
Sample. I've never had to do that before. So, I went to the toilet, filled up this little bottle he gave me, good as gold, gave it back to him.
There's another app we can get that's called Artemis that is just cheat codes, basically. I did this with Burnout Paradise just to see if it worked. I don't know if that's really a good game to do it with. I just thought this would be a good one to try. You can actually view a big list of cheats that they have for the game you're looking for. This is just, yeah, I tried this to see if it worked. It actually did. It was just basically you get the full, what is it, boost. You just have permanent boost. You don't have to build it up. You can just have that constantly. Now, I probably wouldn't use that for this game. This is still a good option because, again, at this point in time, sometimes you might not want to play a game for a million years before we get into the very fun part of it. I thought this was honestly very interesting, and I didn't really clue into this at first. You do, apparently you have PlayStation Home on your cross-media bar, like in that section that it is in, when you do have custom firmware on this, so it's not something that you actually need to go out and download yourself. Regardless, this is very cool. You can get the PlayStation Home QA version, which I believe QA stands for quality assurance. I don't know if this is something where it has something to do with this is basically what developers have access to or something. What this version of PlayStation Home is it's just giving you access to a lot of features. Rooms, clothing items, you can get like whatever clothing item you want. You don't have to like actually go through the process of finding a way to unlock them. There are different teams reviving PlayStation Home at this point, so it's just if you want to get into a specific one, you may have to change your DNS settings around, and then you can actually get access to whichever one you're looking for. I just saw this on my XMB and was like, what the hell is this? Custom firmware does a lot of things, and this is also something that you can do something very cool with that can almost turn back the clock legitimately. That's what we're doing right now. We need to find a way to enable QA flags, but if you just go over to your custom firmware tools on the cross media bar, you should just be able to scroll down to the section and then check to see if they're actually enabled, and if they are, you're really good to go. There's a combination of buttons we need to press to be able to actually get this to work. Now we can scroll over to the settings and go all the way down to network settings. And once we hit all of those buttons, you should see a couple of different options show up. Now, if we go into debug settings and scroll down for a bit, because there is a lot of options in this part, we should see something that has to do with a clock. This is what we need. We want to be able to turn this back before 2012. Although I don't think it matters anytime specifically before that. I tried to change it to something around 2008, 2007 even, and I also tried to change it to something around 2011 and 2012. It seems like you just get the same PlayStation 3 store every time. Once you do change the clock, we have to reboot the system. And once we're back on the XMB, we should just go over to the PlayStation Store. And this should be one of the legacy PS3 stores. This isn't the first one that we've ever seen. If I remember correctly, the first one was kind of like the worst functioning thing of all time. It was cool looking, maybe. This is like the second gen one, I think. Regardless of which version it is. I don't know how many times I've messed up a sentence in this video, and I apologize. But regardless of which version it is 1000% better than the current one, because it functions a lot better. It just looks nicer. It's a bit weird though, because not everything is showing. Some of the artwork is just plain, just has like the PlayStation buttons as the artwork. I was able to download some demos from it, something that was free. I wasn't trying to pay any money or anything like that, but it honestly would be insane if there was, maybe there is, maybe I'll find out after this, that would be annoying. If there is a way to get the actual original PS3 store again, that would be nuts. One thing recently that I also learned, and this is amazing, some games are only able to be played online if you have some type of modified PS3. For example, I was just playing Battlefield 3, the beta, online again, because there is a revival process going on at this point for PS3 Battlefield 3. It's the same with Midnight Club LA. I wasn't able to find anybody, but you can download some files, and you can transfer them over again with mana guns and we can access the online again, which is just cool. I'm sure there's many other games you have to have custom firmware with to play online. I'm not exactly sure which ones you need or other ones you need custom firmware for, but those two I know because I tested recently, but that's just something that also is very important with this. Just the fact that you might only be able to play, if you want to go back and revisit a really good game or something from way back in the day, you might need custom firmware or something for this, or at least like N. Here's something really interesting that I never knew. Maybe you only have like, I don't know, 120 gigs of storage. Not even really that much, because if the hard drive tells you have 120, you really have like less. Now there is actually an application we can get on this that will fill your storage up a bit more. And it's not anything to do with deleting save games or anything. It's just, it's not going to really mess with any of your important save files. The video I've seen and just the information I've seen regarding this specific application, it has nothing to do with deleting any really important files on your system. And the larger hard drive you have, the more storage you will get back. Right now I have a 120 gig, I think. And honestly, for a PlayStation 3, that is important because these games are large. Some of these games are huge, actually. I can't believe some PlayStation 3 games are actually that big. So storage revival, or what the hell you want to say, just getting storage back is something that is important. I think at this point in time, or I said that. I did say that, I think, at the beginning of this, that having a jailbroken PS3, or a PS3 that's just modified in some way to be able to run homebrew apps on it, is very necessary at this point. And the longer that life exists, the more that is relevant. It's just really hard to not play PS3 at this point, not get all sappy over here, because god damn it, this thing is amazing. I was very much unaware that I made the jailbroke, or Jesus Christ, I messed up a sentence again. The jailbroken PS3 video last year that I did. I think like most of the things that were discussed in this video, I had no idea about, or if I didn't know the full detail of it. If you're on the fence about jailbreaking your PS3, then it's absolutely necessary. I know it could be intimidating sometimes when you see like a very long video. It could be like half an hour and you're like, I can't do this. That's what I thought. I thought at first I was never going to be able to do something like this because I'm just an idiot. And not only am I an idiot, was it necessary? It is absolutely necessary, and it's really not difficult at all. It's just kind of a little bit of a process to get going. This thing will go down the history books, I'm telling you. Whenever the planet decides to explode, and if there's ever like a building still standing of just like most important things that ever existed, the PS3 has to be in that building. I would honestly put a PS3 next to a picture on a cabinet of my dead grandmother or something. That's how important it is. All right, probably time to wrap it up now.